What if the secret to sleeping through the night isn't a pill, a surgery, or an expensive treatment, but 3 simple vegetables you can find at any grocery store? Sounds too good to be true, right? I'm Dr. Thomas, a doctor with 30 years of experience in medicine, psychology, and helping folks like you live fully after 50. Welcome to Living Fully After 50, where we're all about real stories, real solutions, and real hope. Today, I'm not just sharing medical advice, I'm telling you a story that changed how I see my patients. It's about Susan, a 67-year-old grandmother who thought her sleepless nights were a life sentence. Spoiler alert, they weren't. Stick with me, because her journey might just change yours too. Picture this, it's 2 a.m., and you're wide awake, stumbling to the bathroom for the 3rd time tonight. Your heart sinks as you realize sleep is slipping away again. For millions of seniors, especially those with diabetes or kidney issues, this isn't just a bad night, it's every night. Nocturia, frequent nighttime urination, steals your rest, your energy, and your joy. Susan lived this nightmare for years, until 3 vegetables, cucumbers, zucchini, and spinach, turned her life around. Let's dive into her story, filled with struggle, surprises, and a comeback that'll inspire you to grab a cucumber and start chopping. Susan's struggle, a life stolen by sleepless nights. It was a gray Tuesday morning in my Seattle clinic, 3 years ago, when Susan walked in. She was 67, a retired librarian with a warm laugh that didn't match the exhaustion in her eyes. "Dr. Thomas," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I'm so tired of being tired. I'm up 5, sometimes 6 times a night to pee. I feel like I'm losing myself." Her hands fidgeted with her scarf, a nervous habit that told me this wasn't just about her bladder, it was about her spirit. Susan had type 2 diabetes, diagnosed a decade earlier. Her nocturia wasn't just an annoyance, it was a wrecking ball. She'd stopped joining her book club because evening outings meant planning bathroom breaks. She'd canceled a dream trip to Italy with her husband, Tom, terrified of long flights with no escape. "I'm not me anymore," she confessed, tears spilling over. "I'm the woman who's always looking for the nearest restroom." As a doctor, I've heard this pain before, but Susan's raw honesty hit me hard. I knew I had to help her, not with another prescription, but with something she could own, something that would give her back her nights. The hidden toll of nocturia. Before we go further, let's talk about why nocturia is such a thief. As a physician, I've spent decades studying how our bodies and minds intertwine. Nocturia isn't just a physical issue, it's a psychological gut punch. For seniors, especially those with diabetes, it's triggered by a perfect storm. High blood sugar forces the kidneys to overwork, flushing out excess glucose through urine. Aging weakens the bladder, and conditions like fluid retention or inflammation make it worse. The result? You're up all night, and by morning, you're drained physically and emotionally. Susan described it perfectly. "It's like my body's betraying me, Dr. Thomas. I just want to sleep like I used to." Her words echoed a universal longing among seniors to feel in control, to wake up refreshed, to live without embarrassment. As Helen Keller once said, "Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it." Susan's suffering was real, but I believe we could overcome it together. My plan? 3 vegetables that could work with her body, not against it. The first step: cucumbers and a spark of hope. I started with cucumbers. Yes, cucumbers, the humble green veggie you might toss in a salad without a second thought. When I suggested them to Susan, she chuckled. "Dr. Thomas, are you serious? Cucumbers are going to fix this." I smiled and explained why they are a secret weapon. Cucumbers are 95% water, hydrating the body without taxing the kidneys, crucial for diabetics like Susan, whose dehydration worsened her symptoms. They are low in carbs, keeping blood sugar stable, and their natural diuretic properties flush out excess sodium, reducing fluid retention that fuels nocturia. Plus, their antioxidants, like flavonoids, fight inflammation, a silent driver of diabetes complications. A simple salad, a big win. I gave Susan a challenge: make a cucumber salad every day for a week. Slice a cucumber, toss it with a tablespoon of olive oil, a splash of lemon juice, and a pinch of salt, I said. It's easy, refreshing, and it'll help your body balance fluids. She was skeptical but desperate enough to try. When she came back a week later, her eyes were brighter. "I went from 5 trips to 3 last night," she said, almost in disbelief. "And I feel lighter." That salad wasn't just food, it was a lifeline. Susan started adding cucumber slices to her water, too, swapping out sugary drinks that spiked her glucose. As she sipped her cucumber-infused water, she felt like she was doing something for herself, not just following orders. A surprise connection, the granddaughter's gift. Here's where Susan's story takes a heartwarming turn. Her 10-year-old granddaughter, Emma, noticed her slicing cucumbers one afternoon. "Nana, that looks yummy," Emma said, grabbing a slice. They ended up making a giant salad together, giggling as lemon juice squirted everywhere. For Susan, this was more than a meal, it was a moment of joy she hadn't felt in years. "Dr. Thomas, I forgot how much I love cooking with Emma," she told me. That connection, that spark of happiness, amplified the cucumber's physical benefits. As psychologist William James once said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes of mind." Susan's attitude was shifting. She was starting to believe in herself again. Zucchini, a game changer in the kitchen. With Susan's early success, I introduced zucchini. This vegetable is a diabetic's dream: low glycemic index, high in fiber, and packed with potassium and vitamin C. Its slow-release glucose prevents blood sugar spikes, while its water content and potassium flush out sodium, easing kidney strain and reducing nighttime urination. Zucchini's versatility also makes it fun to cook, which I knew would appeal to Susan's love of creativity. She used to paint watercolors before Nocturia drained her energy. Zoodles and a dinner party twist. I suggested zucchini noodles, or zoodles, as a low-carb pasta alternative. Get a spiralizer, I told her, and sauté the noodles with olive oil, garlic, and basil. Susan was intrigued but nervous. She hadn't cooked anything new in years. A week later, she burst into my office with a story that made me grin. "Dr. Thomas, I threw a dinner party," she said. She'd invited her neighbors, Mike and Linda, and served zoodles with a light marinara sauce. They couldn't believe it wasn't pasta, she laughed. And I only got up twice that night. But here's the twist: during that dinner, Mike, a retired firefighter, shared that he, too, struggled with Nocturia. Susan taught him the zoodle recipe, and they bonded over their shared challenge. That night wasn't just about food, it was about community, about Susan feeling useful and connected. Her Nocturia was down to 2 trips, and her confidence was soaring. As Maya Angelou said, "When you learn, teach. When you get, give." Susan was doing both, and it was transforming her life. A mini story: the farmer's market encounter. Susan's zucchini journey had another surprise. At her local farmer's market, she met a vendor named Rosa, who grew organic zucchini. "Roast them with a sprinkle of Parmesan," Rosa suggested. Susan tried it and loved it, but what stayed with her was Rosa's story. She'd started growing zucchini to manage her own diabetes after losing her mother to complications. "It's not just food, it's medicine," Rosa said. Susan came back to me, eyes shining. "Dr. Thomas, I'm not alone in this." That realization fueled her commitment, and her nighttime trips dropped to 1 some nights. Spinach, the final piece of the puzzle. The third vegetable was spinach, a nutrient powerhouse that I knew could seal Susan's progress. Spinach is rich in magnesium, which boosts insulin sensitivity, helping stabilize blood sugar and ease kidney strain. Its fiber slows glucose absorption, preventing spikes that increase urination. Potassium counters sodium's effects, reducing fluid retention, while antioxidants like vitamins C and E fight inflammation. For Susan, spinach was the key to not just better nights but better days. A family reunion breakthrough. I suggested Susan try a spinach smoothie. Blend a cup of spinach with a banana, almond milk, and a touch of honey. "It's like a milkshake, but it's working for you," I said. She was hesitant. Smoothies sounded too young for her, but she gave it a shot. At her next visit, she shared a story that gave me chills. Susan had been dreading a family reunion, worried her Nocturia would make her the bathroom lady. Instead, she brought a spinach salad, lightly steamed to boost nutrient absorption, inspired by my advice. Her family raved about it, and Susan felt like the star of the night. "I only went to the bathroom once," she said, beaming. "I felt like me again." But here's the high point. During the reunion, Susan's sister, Ellen, pulled her aside. "You look different, Susan." "Happier," Ellen said. Susan opened up about her vegetable journey, and Ellen, who also had diabetes, decided to try it. That moment of sisterly connection, of sharing hope, was a turning point. Susan wasn't just healing herself, she was inspiring others. As Oprah Winfrey once said, "The greatest good you can do for another is not just to share your riches but to reveal to him his own." Susan was doing exactly that. Another tale, the smoothie skeptic. Susan's success rippled further. Her friend, George, a 70-year-old widower, scoffed at her smoothies. "That's for hipsters," he teased. But after Susan shared one with him, he was hooked. "I'm sleeping 5 hours straight now," he told her, amazed. George started making smoothies for his grandkids, turning it into a fun ritual. These small stories of Susan inspiring George, Ellen, and others showed me the power of one person's change to spark a chain reaction. The science and the soul, why this works. Let's break down the science behind Susan's transformation. Cucumbers, zucchini, and spinach are tailored to tackle Nocturia's root causes. Hydration without strain. Their high water content hydrates without overloading the kidneys, crucial for diabetics whose dehydration worsens urination. Blood sugar stability. Low glycemic index and fiber prevent glucose spikes, reducing urine production. Kidney support. Potassium and magnesium ease kidney strain, while diuretics like cucumbers flush out excess sodium. Anti-inflammatory power. Antioxidants fight inflammation, a hidden driver of diabetes complications. But science only tells half the story. Susan's journey was as much about her heart as her body. Nocturia had made her feel small, ashamed, isolated. Each vegetable we introduced wasn't just a nutrient, it was a step toward reclaiming her identity. The cucumber salad reconnected her with Emma. Zoodles brought her neighbors closer. Spinach gave her confidence at the reunion. As a doctor, I've learned that healing is holistic. It's not just about fixing symptoms, it's about restoring joy, purpose, and connection. My 30 years of lessons, a doctor's perspective. In my 30 years as a physician, I've seen countless patients like Susan. What makes her story special is her courage to try something new, even when it seemed too simple. Seniors often feel overlooked by healthcare systems, handed pills without being heard. That's why I'm passionate about solutions like these, accessible, empowering, and rooted in nature. As Hippocrates said, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food." Susan proved that. I've seen this pattern repeat. Take Robert, a 72-year-old veteran who used zucchini soups to manage Nocturia and rediscover his love for cooking. Or Linda, a 65-year-old teacher who started a vegetable garden after spinach smoothies improved her sleep. These aren't just success stories, they are proof that small changes can rewrite your life. Psychology plays a huge role too. Nocturia's shame and frustration can erode self-worth, but giving patients tools to fight back restores their dignity. The climax: Susan's sleep-free cookbook. Here's the moment that still gives me goosebumps. 8 months into her journey, Susan walked into my clinic with a gift, a spiral-bound notebook titled Susan's Sleep-Free Cookbook. "Dr. Thomas, I've been writing down every vegetable recipe I've tried," she said, her voice steady with pride. Cucumber salads, zoodle dishes, spinach smoothies, even recipes from my neighbors and the farmer's market. I want to share it with others. I flipped through the pages, stunned. This wasn't just a cookbook, it was a testament to her resilience. Susan had gone from a woman who felt broken to one who was teaching her community how to heal. Her nighttime trips were down to 1, sometimes 0. Her diabetes markers, blood sugar, A1C, had improved dramatically. But the real victory was her spirit. She'd started hosting weekly veggie nights at her house, inviting friends to try her recipes. Her book club was back on, and she was planning that Italy trip with Tom. Susan hadn't just found relief, she'd found purpose. As Nelson Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Susan did the impossible, and it changed everything. How you can start: practical tips for your journey. Inspired by Susan, here's how you can bring these vegetables into your life. These are simple, senior-friendly ideas that don't require fancy skills or tools. Cucumber salad: slice 1 cucumber, toss with 1 tablespoon olive oil, 1 teaspoon lemon juice, and a pinch of salt. Add fresh dill or mint for a twist. Eat daily to stay hydrated and reduce sodium. Cucumber water: drop 4-5 cucumber slices into a glass of water. Let it sit for 10 minutes for a refreshing, sugar-free drink. Perfect for daytime hydration. Zucchini noodles: zoodles, use a spiralizer, or buy pre-spiralized zucchini, and sauté in 1 tablespoon olive oil with garlic and herbs for 3-4 minutes. Pair with grilled chicken or shrimp. Roasted zucchini: slice zucchini into half moons, coat with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and roast at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 degrees Celsius, for 20 minutes. Sprinkle with Parmesan for extra flavor. Spinach smoothie: blend 1 cup spinach, 1 banana, 1 cup almond milk, and a teaspoon of honey. Drink in the morning for a nutrient boost. Spinach salad: toss raw spinach with sliced strawberries, walnuts, and a light balsamic dressing. Or steam spinach lightly to enhance nutrient absorption. Start with 1 recipe for a week, like Susan did. Keep a journal of your nighttime trips and how you feel. You might be surprised at the results. The ripple effect: Susan's legacy. Susan's story didn't stop with her. Her cookbook inspired her neighbors to start a community garden, growing cucumbers, zucchini, and spinach. Her granddaughter Emma created a YouTube channel to share their recipes, reaching thousands of viewers. At one veggie night, Susan met a widower named Henry, who'd lost hope after his own diabetes diagnosis. She shared her cucumber salad recipe, and months later, He thanked her with tears in his eyes. "I'm sleeping again, Susan. I feel alive." These ripples of hope, connection, and healing are what make stories like Susan's so powerful. I've seen this in my practice too. Another patient, Clara, a 69-year-old artist, started painting again after zucchini dishes improved her nocturia and energy. Or James, who used spinach salads to manage his symptoms and reconnect with his kids over family dinners. These stories remind us that health is a shared journey, one that lifts up everyone around us. Conclusion: lessons from Susan's triumph. Susan's journey is a beacon of hope for anyone feeling trapped by nocturia or chronic illness. 3 vegetables, cucumbers, zucchini, and spinach didn't just reduce her nighttime trips, they gave her back her sleep, her confidence, and her life. As a doctor, I've learned that the best medicine isn't always in a bottle, it's in the choices we make, the connections we build, and the courage we find to keep going. Here are the lessons I hope you carry with you. Start small, win big. 1 salad, 1 smoothie, 1 new habit can change everything. You're not alone. Nocturia is a shared struggle, but so is the path to healing. Reach out, share your story, and find your community. Own your health. Like Susan, you have the power to take control with simple, natural tools. Spread the light. Your journey can inspire others, just like Susan's cookbook did. If Susan's story speaks to you, I invite you to try these vegetables. Start with a cucumber salad tonight or a spinach smoothie tomorrow. Track your progress, and don't be afraid to get creative. And if you're watching this on Living Fully After 50, please like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Tell me your story or your favorite veggie recipe. Your voice matters, and it could inspire someone else, just like Susan did. Thank you for joining me. Here's to restful nights, vibrant days, and living fully after 50.